Hi everyone, I hope all of them is doing well. I am DrGokulaKrishan, Associate Professor in HR, Analytics and Entrepreneurship. First of all, I would like to thank the LLAGT for the wonderful opportunity to share my knowledge on the entrepreneurship. For today's webinar, we are going to concentrate on how the entrepreneur should utilize the numbers or the data which they are getting directly or indirectly from the society. Before getting into this, I would like to introduce myself to the gathering. As I told you, I am working as an associate professor. I have 12 plus years of teaching and research experience, and so far I have trained 5,000 plus participants in the field of management, analytics and entrepreneurship. Presently, I am associated with the 18 plus international journals as an editorial board member and reviewer, and I have published papers on entrepreneurship. My key skill sets are into the analytics, Tableau, Python, R programming, Amos, SPSS, Excel and Jamovi. I have obtained doctorate degree in management in 2015. So let us move further in this webinar to discuss about the role of numbers in the entrepreneurship. First thing it is, before getting into these topics in terms of discussion, we would like to know who is an entrepreneur and what is his role in the society. Entrepreneur is a person, one who converts his idea into one business opportunity. Through that business opportunity, he can provide a lot of employability opportunity to the people, those who are located nearby or those who are having a right skill sets in terms of fulfilling the requirement of the entrepreneur. Ultimately, the entrepreneurship or entrepreneurial role will create a lot of impact in the MSME sector, which directly and indirectly contribute towards a nation's growth. And GDP of any country, it has been decided around 80% of the GDP, it is decided by the MSME sector. And when we are discussing about the GDP of an MSME sector, the platforms or the opportunities which has been created by any country to inculcate their entrepreneurial role, it is very, very important. So in this context, I'm going to discuss the following topics for today's webinar. First thing it is, I'm going to explain why data is important in the business and how it is going to be useful when it comes to the decision making process, and through the decision making process, how the business can be excelled. Further, I would like to discuss about the business model with the numbers. Then we will be discussing about business analytics in the entrepreneurial role and how the entrepreneurs should manage their business with the help of the numbers or the data which they are gathering from the society. Next, we will be discussing how business would be used as a game of a number. Then we will be discussing the strategies in business, leading indicators of a successful business, details of the business metrics with the calculations and formulas, and finally we will be discussing how we need to manage the numbers in terms of implementing whatever the knowledge we are going to gain it. The major outcome of this webinar would be stimulating the entrepreneurs to utilize the numbers or the data which they are getting directly or indirectly in their business. So let us move further for the further discussion. The first and foremost thing which we need to consider about the entrepreneurial things when it comes to the numbers, data. You know what is mean by a data which has been available in the society directly or indirectly to an entrepreneur. So numbers are very, very important when we want to decide about the success or failure of any business, especially when we say that whomever is going to start their business, ultimately their focus would be to attain at least to break even, or they want to make a success, the profit gaining. Those people are gaining more profit, they want to maximize their profit. So how it will happen? When, unless or until an entrepreneur do aware about what is happening actually in the operational field as well as in the outside, it is very difficult to compare where he or she is doing well in terms of business. Okay, so what are the things we need to remember? So let me give fundamentals of the some strategies which is very important when it comes to the business, especially in terms of STP, segmentation, targeting and positioning. Almost 30 or 50 years back, people, the customers are attracted towards a product only by the product, the quality of the product and so on. So that concept in the marketing, we used to say that it is a product driven market. When a product is good, when it is really useful for the society and the customers will automatically come and buy. Later on, the strategy has been developed or changed into the marketing driven strategy in order to attract and retain the customers. What do you mean by market driven? Market driven, it is created by the seller or a producer in order to attract more number of customers towards their products, especially the advertisements, good packaging elements, and the brand ambassadors and word of mouth communication and so on. That falls into the marketing driven or market driven strategies. And now we are into the era of data driven strategy. As we do aware that all the social media platforms or e-commerce platforms are coming out with the concept called customized or personalized selling. How it is possible? It is possible only because of the data. The behavior or usage of a customer on the online media or offline media has been collected either in the qualitative form or quantitative form. Finally, they will take a decision. So that's why the numbers are very, very important when it comes to the entrepreneur or to run any business. So what they have to do what? First of all, they need to regulate it, or they need to aware what are the sources of their data. Some data can be generated by themselves. Many data, they should rely on the secondary databases. Based on the data which is available directly or indirectly to them, they will take a decision making. They will take the decisions. Purely the decision making process in the business scenario in the present things, it is happening based on the data. For an instant, based on the demand available for the product or where you need to position your product, based on that you have to decide, should I position my product there or not? Again, data or the numbers are deciding the elements. So that is why we are emphasizing on data is meant for decision making. If your decision set is correct, then you can achieve the target or you can become a business excellent. Your business can achieve the business excellence. In simple things, we can tell you that any entrepreneur, they looks for ROI, return on investment. So when I want to calculate the return on investment, based on my investment, I need some data which I have done it. In simple manner, in simple example, I would like to tell you that if I am going to be an entrepreneur, if I have invested 1 lakh rupees in a particular business, ultimately I would like to gain more than that, not lesser than that. In management concept, we used to say that it is going to be known as a break-even point. If I am achieving 1 lakh rupees as a return, that is going to be known as a break-even point. All the entrepreneurs, they used to achieve minimum break-even points and they will start gaining the profit after that. When they are able to gain the profit, if it is possible, they will maximize the profit. So everything lies on the data. So as an entrepreneur, you must aware what you need to do with, and in terms of collecting the data and analyzing the data and taking the decisions to get business excellence on this. I hope you understood on this. let me proceed further on that. So this is a diagrammatic representation which has been taken from the source which has been given a business model with the numbers. So you can able to find it. What are the things it is available here? Let me go there. Here, the first thing, can you able to see that ultimately any entrepreneur will look for the growth. As I told you in the previous slide itself, any entrepreneur would like to have a profit. So the growth, it is very, very important. How do I will decide that my business is growing? Only when I am going to compare my previous year growth or previous data which is I have it. Let us say that if you are not having a proper growth, then you will identify the reasons. Finally, you will find the solutions. So it is a complete visualization picture where you want to do it. Ultimately, the business model will have, there is a communication, marketing channels, analysis, finance, people, investment, development, teamwork, and partners, and management, and vision, and idea. So from the idea, the vision will be incorporated, then the management will be created, and partners will be added. You will raise your funds, and people, finance, and marketing, and communication, and finally you will achieve the target of your company. That is a growth. So let us look into detail. In general, we used to say that business metrics are 7 categories. Before getting into that, let me tell you why the numbers are very important for you. Okay. Here, business analytics. This name, it is very common, quite common in the present scenario. Business analytics, analyzing the business by using the numbers or the data which you have. Let me tell you, whatever the analytics or analysis has been done in the business field or in the commerce, it has been categorized into 3 categories. One, it is descriptive in nature, describing what is your position based on the past data. When you are able to understand what has happened to you and to your business in the past, you could able to predict the future. That is known as predictive analytics. And based on the predictive analytics and descriptive analytics, you will take a decision and you will recommend certain sort of things which has to be improvised for the future betterment of your business. That is going to be known as prescriptive analytics. It is an ocean actually. Analytics, business analytics, it is an ocean. Okay, so let me wind up here. Just to try to understand the business analytics or the numbers, it is going to be categorized in this manner. First of all, we will look into understanding your business, what is happening, whether you are doing well or not. It has been explained by the descriptive analytics. Then you will decide about the predictive. Based on the descriptive results, you will predict what is going to be happen for my business in another 1 year or maybe for another 5 years. Then you will recommend certain strategies or recommendations in order to improvise your business. Let us proceed further in this webinar. So how do I manage the numbers? Okay, there is a strong proverb or the statement that is given by the Peter Drucker, who is known as a management guru in marketing group, business authority. He has clearly mentioned that you can't manage what you cannot measure. You cannot manage what you can't measure it. So the measurement, it plays a vital role. Unless or until an entrepreneur or a businessman knows how to manage or measure their business, it is impossible to manage their business in a proper manner. There is a statistics says that somewhere around 90% of the startup business are being failed. The only reason, as per my understanding, it is they are not able to measure what they are doing it. Because of that, they could not able to manage it properly, and they are quitting from their entrepreneurial role. The next thing we need to understand, anything from the Michael Dell Computers, he has mentioned very clearly, anything that can be measured can be improved. So that is what I have told you in the previous slide also. When we want to understand the business, first thing it is you need to measure it in terms of descriptive analytics. When I am able to understand what is happening to my business, I can able to manage it. If I am able to manage and measure, definitely I can able to improvise my business. So there are few leading indicators is that we used to say that real-time system performance and lagging indicators. Okay, real-time system performance stands for the day-to-day activities in terms of production, in terms of marketing, in terms of sales, in terms of revenue, in terms of credit sales, and so on. That we will be discussing in further future slides, the next slides. Then the next point, you need to understand what type of measures you need to apply. First of all, you need to go for the productivity, how far you are good enough in terms of productivity, how much wastages has been done, or could you be able to minimize the wastages in your business? Are you able to achieve 100% productivity from the raw materials without wasting anything? Can you be able to meet out the quality standards? Then the timeliness, then cycle time, resource utilization, and costs. So these are the things it is very, very important when it comes to the measurement of any business. There are few other KPIs is there. It is very important thing. KPIs stands for key performance indicators, which is true economic engine for your organization. Okay, and finally, before moving to the next slide, I would like to quote one more person's and experts' view on this. In God we trust, all others bring data. Okay, so Edwards Deming, total quality management professional, he has mentioned very clearly. So please try to understand that first thing it is, you need to measure your business, then you can able to manage it. When you are able to measure and manage, definitely you could able to improvise your business. So the next topic we are going to discuss in this, it is businesses and numbers game. Yes, it's something like a gambling, I would say that. Okay, it is all about predicting with the risk and uncertainty. Okay, so how much data you have and the clarity in the data, clarity in the analysis will bring down the risk and uncertainty of your business. So the first point, it has been very clearly mentioned that it is essential to know your numbers so that you can able to maintain focus and have visibility on what is going on in your business. And as I mentioned in the previous slide also, many people having a good idea, when they are converting that ideology into one business, within 1 year they are failing only because they are not able to control it or manage it. How they can control their business without getting deviated, it is only based on your standard operating procedures with the KPIs. KPIs, it is nothing but business metrics. That we need to understand. So please try to remember that it is essential to know your numbers so that you can maintain focus and have visibility on what is going on in your business. For example, you need to know if your sales income are reasonable and enough to achieve your profit you want. First, just an example, you will know where the things with your variable costs are varying, something like that. And finally knowing your numbers helps you to keep focus on the important things that are going to help your business run smoothly and effectively. So again and again I am insisting the same thing. Please try to know your data, know your numbers, and know your business so that you could be able to manage it properly. The next thing that is the strategies. Ultimately, you know very well, when we have created an idea, we will come out with the planning, organizing, directing, and controlling. And most of the time, many entrepreneurs, they used to plan well. When it comes to the implementation phase or organizing phase, they used to fail miserably. The major reason, as I told you in the previous slides also, they are not able to measure it. But apart from that, let us say that if I am not doing well, even if I'm doing well also, I'm not able to compete with my competitors, what should I do? What are the strategies I have to adopt it? It is always better that in a business you need to have a plan A or plan B or plan C. whenever you want to incorporate some interventions in terms of strategy, decision making, you need to make the decisions only based on your numbers. When you are able to make or incorporate interventions in your organization with the different kinds of plans which can achieve your vision and mission of the organization in pair with your competitors, that is very, very important. Unless or until if you are not able to do that, then it is very difficult. For that, the strategic decision making with the numbers, it is very, very important. The next, we'll see what are the leading indicators you need to know when it comes to the business measures. First one, efficiency measure. The second one, it is a quality measure. Next thing, it is a customer satisfaction measure. And employee skills and satisfaction measures, innovation and improvement measures. What do you mean by efficiency measure? How many person hours does it take to make a product? Man hours. We used to say that man hours. Okay. And how long is the lead time between receipt of an order and shipping? Lead time, it doesn't mean that when we are getting an order from one customer, and from that order time, how long it is taking to us to send it to the customers. That is the lead time. How many deliveries do you make in a day? Something like this kind of questions you need to think about it in order to check about your measures, efficiency of your business. That is the one thing. In general, we are speaking. Then the next thing, it is quality measures. What is the rate of return merchandise or service callbacks we have? How many defects are there per total items produced? It's very important, because when you are when you have more number of defects in your business, in production, then you will lose your money. Okay, so you need to minimize it. That is also a quality measure. Then the next thing, it is what is the average cost to service your product warranties. So based on this, you have to decide whether your business is doing well or not. Then the customer satisfaction measures are quite common to it. How many customers, new customers do you have per week? What is the frequency of repeated orders, complaints and referrals? And what do satisfaction survey results tells you? So again, it is data. Then employee skills and satisfaction measures. How many hours of employee training and performed per month? How many trainings you are giving, and on which basis you are giving, and those things also you have to think about it. Next thing, it is what percent of employees are certified, the skill sets. Then what is your rate of absenteeism and employee turnover? We will be discussing on detail in the next slides. Innovation and improvement measures. It's R&D. It is very, very important, because you need to survive and success in the industry on par with your competitors. So leading indicators are important, because the earlier you measure the system reveals the problem or diminish your performance, sooner it can be corrected. Okay, so leading indicators will indicate whether your business is doing well or not. So now we are come to the major part of this webinar about the business metrics. There would be a lot of questions when I'm revealing the data and when I'm understanding the data. And you may ask me, sir, I have collected the data. After that, what should I do? How I can identify that my business is doing well, or my employees are doing well or not, my production is in the efficient manner or not, and so on. So for that, the metrics, it's very, very important. So we will be moving through that. And ultimately, whatever the metrics which we are going to use it, which will be useful to predict and explain the present and future condition of your business. It is very, very important for any business, and as an entrepreneur, you must aware the following metrics, and the same thing you need to incorporate it. So what is the business metrics? Are used to track, monitor and analyze quantified measures that access the business process success or a failure. That's very, very important. You need to track and monitor and analyze whether your measures are giving or your business is doing good or not. Business metrics give you an insight into a business before making a deep dive into the core business data. That's a thing, the overall picture. And each business department track, monitor and analyze their specific performance and key metrics. Let us say that the key sales department will cater to their respective metrics like sales volume, sales call, and etc., while marketing team will look after their respective metrics such as engagement, campaign cost, website traffic, and so on, and it will be calculating in overall. So let us discuss in detail. These are the things we want to understand first. Broadly, the business metrics can be classified into 7 categories according to this source, which I have mentioned here. First one, sales. Ultimately, you know very well sales, how much it is very important. Even though your product is good, you are doing well with the cheaper cost, and the productivity is good, and it is very important for your business and everything. Unless or until your sales team is not doing well, then it is very, very difficult to achieve the desired result what you want. Ultimately, the sales is a direct proportionate towards the return on investment of any business. We will be discussing in detail on that, what are the metrics are available in that. The next metric we need to think about it as an entrepreneur, marketing metrics, especially in terms of segmentation, targeting and positioning. Those metrics it is going to be utilized, and which we considered how we can attract and retain the customers by using the metrics in an overall. The next metric, it is ultimately the finance. Without finance, we know very well that it is very difficult to manage your business in terms of cash flow and fund flow management. The financial metrics will help us to understand whether my business is doing well in terms of my gaining more profit or not. Okay, because by end of the day, you have to be answerable or you are liable to your stakeholders. And human resource metrics will be useful to understand your human resources, the employees, whether they are doing well or whether they are productively engaging with your organization, whether they are satisfied or not, because the internal customers' satisfaction is very, very important than your external customer. Internal customers are nothing but your employees. Then project management metrics, product performance metrics, and other important metrics we are going to discuss. So let us look into each metric in detail. First thing, it is sales metrics. First metric, it is sales qualified leads. This metric is a simple count of how many prospects showed interest to buy your product and helps in calculating the conversion rates. Normally, your sales team will approach many people. Okay, so how many customers or consumers shown interest towards your product, that is qualified leads, and how many leads can be converted as a customers. That is very, very important. We used to say that the conversion rates are going to be decided here. And tracking SQLs will help you to assess the effectiveness of your marketing and give you a brief overview of product market fitness. The product market fitness, it is very, very essential, because the positioning and targeting and segmenting, based on that only you will design your product based on the needs, then you will go for it. So this metric would be useful on that. The best example, we can say that during this COVID pandemic period, the sanitizers are very, very highly useful. So people simply, they can able to position it, whichever the brand you have it, just you can sell it. But when it comes to the other products, okay, it is very important that you need to satisfy your customers very carefully in terms of automobile industry or in terms of any other industry. It's in matter. The next thing it is, the next metric when it comes to the sales, it is open sales opportunities. This metric will tell you about the productivity level of your sales representatives and the level of importance they gave to each prospect. Okay, because if I am getting some lead from someone, now for my sales representatives are taking care of it in terms of converting that customer, that lead into a customer. Ultimately, it is very difficult to say that you can able to achieve 100%, but still you can able to achieve, if you are able to achieve 60 to 70%, then you are doing well. Your sales team is doing well. The next thing, it is closed sales opportunities, then another metric. This is helpful to measure, to know what time your sales team takes to close the prospect and gives a brief picture of the sales department progress. So those who have converted, the business has been converted, yes, I am sure that these people will buy this number of things. It is going to be known as in sales, the complete thing. Normally it used to be conducted on a daily basis or weekly basis, or every fortnight it would be conducted. Next important metric, it is when it comes to the sales, is this lead response time. The response time, it will tell you how much time you take to respond to the website leads. It has been given in the formula, lead response time, LRT, is equal to time gap in responding to a lead divided by number of leads. So your response, again it is speaks about the sales representatives effectiveness. Then the next thing, it is next metric in the sales metric, it is sales win rate. Sales win rate is equal to number of sales opportunities won, number of sales opportunities contacted into 100. Okay, as I mentioned when I explaining about the open sales opportunities, even your sales representative team will approach 1000 plus customers, but all 1000 customers will not become as a lead for your sales. Those who are converted as a customers from the SQL, that would be known as a sales win rate. Let us say in number, for an instant, 1000 leads have been contacted by your sales representatives, and you will get somewhere around 700 sales wins. That is, you could able to sell your products to 700 customers, then your percentage would be 70%. So this is how the metrics can be done. And further to that, in addition to that, there are few other sales metrics also. It is there. You can see this yearly sales growth. This metric will show you a clear picture how business has grown over the years or experiencing the downward trend. Yearly sales growth, current year sale minus last year sale divided by the last year sales. So how much growth rate is there? A year on year growth or year on year decrease in the growth. That can be calculated. Let us say that last year I achieved a 5 crore business, okay, sales growth. This year I am nearby 5.5, means it is going to be somewhere around 5.5 minus 5 divided by 5 crore. It is somewhere around, you achieved a 10% growth in your sales. So yearly sales growth can be calculated like that. And the sales value, again the measure will let you know about the average deal size of your business made to the customers, how much effort will be required to break even or meet the cost. There is one concept I wanted to bring it here before mentioning that. There's a concept called a payback period. Okay, payback period. Payback period, it is nothing but the entrepreneur or investor, when he will get that investment amount. That is what we used to say, that break even point. Okay, so that break even point will tell you for how long I took my business took to give me that return. Exactly. Let us say that I have invested 5 crores in the business, and I have taken nearly 5.5 years to get back that 1 lakh rupees. 5 crore rupees. My payback period, it is going to be 5 years. So how it is payback period, it is going to be calculated. It is in the sales. this is the one metric, that is sales value metric, the average, the total sales value or total sales value in the segment divided by number of sales or units in that particular unit. Okay, so total number of products has been sold and average sales it is going to be there. The next important metrics when it comes to the sales, it is sales cycle, how much time I have taken to convert the sales. Sales cycle is equal to total time in terms of days spent on a sales one and total number of sales opportunities I have. Okay, so this is the thing. And next thing, it is net promoter score, NPS, is equal to promoters percentage divided by subtract the trackers. This is a most important business metric for your sales team. This will measure how likely your customers are willing to recommend your product or service to others or friends and family. This is another important metric. Okay, so I am giving the metrics only, the applications I have not told you so far. Here and there I am giving an examples. First try to understand this metrics, then apply it, then you will be easily able to understand that. So now we are getting into the next important metric, that is major category, that is marketing metrics. Marketing metrics will speak about the metrics which you can able to attract the customers, retain the customers in terms of segmentation, targeting and positioning, and advertisement campaign and so on. The first metric when it comes to the marketing metric, it is web traffic, website traffic. Now you know very well everything it is online and you need to track that. So for that website traffic, it is a metric, it is very important. This is a important metric for the marketers and online businesses. It is simply the number of website visitors landing on your website domain. Many of you must have observed that when you visit some company's website, on the bottom they must have mentioned this is what my number of visitors. And in this area, the Google Analytics, there is one analytics it is there which has been provided by the Google Analytics. If you are free, just Google it in the Google, you will get it, the Google Analytics aspects, which will tell you how many people have visited your website and how many people have inquired about your products and so on. It is going to be given. Then the next thing, it is ultimately website traffic source. This metric will tell you where your traffic comes from, which source. Okay, either from social media, something like Facebook, Twitter, something like that, or from the newspaper, or maybe from your promotion campaign, something like that. Everything it is going to be there. Next thing, it is backlinks, that is inbound and outbound. Backlinks is the ones that link to other pages on your website, and the ones that link to the external web pages apart from your domain affect your website ranking. The health of the backline is virtual, especially when you want to rank your website organically. Okay, so it is authority, domain authority and page authority and organic traffic, it is there. Especially, as I told you, the search engines like Bing, Yahoo, Google increases when your backlines are healthy and give website visitors are more value. Okay, so this is another metric which you can able to utilize it in order to promote and position your company as well as your business and products. The next thing, it is keyword ranking, the critical metric that concerns that most to the digital marketers to know the organic ranking of their target keywords. The metric will tell you how well you are performing organically in terms of your organic competition. It is, we used to say that SEO, search engine optimization with the keywords. Let us say that I wanted to buy a product. Okay, so in terms of t-shirt, let us say that. So my keyword would be cloths, dressings, and something like that. It is going to be mentioned when you are going to search it in the Google search engines or some search engines. Then immediately, based on your keyword ranking, your positioning, your website will be available, visible to the customers. Next, website domain authority. This is the overall value of your domain as given by the search engines. You can rank higher for the target keywords if your DA, domain authority, is high, and DA score also depend upon the age of the domain. So whenever you want to create your website, please do remember that the domain which you are using it, supposed to be having a much experience and older one. Okay, the older websites and the search engines and domains will place your business in a greater extent. The new websites or new domains will not create that effect. Then the next metric, it is a website bounce rate. It is nothing but the number of total number of users bounced after landing a single web page, and the total website traffic into 100. It means that without searching anything apart from the home page in your website of your business, they will quit it. That is website bounce rate. It is not advisable, and if you are able to minimize the website bounce rate of your website, then you can able to reach more. So how you can increase that? You have to make your page more interesting and more enthusiastic in terms of making the customers to stay in your website, so that they will further search in your products, and the leads can be generated. From that leads, sales team can make the business. And conversion rate, it is click-through rate. Okay, it is a conversion rate, tells you how much website visitors converted to customers by purchasing your product online or by signing up. This conversion rate is dependent upon your overall business efforts and combining all the department works. So we used to say that click-through rates, there is a calculation called click stream analytics. So that is also can be utilized. As I told you, it is all about your website page design when it comes to the online business or any business it matter. So when you are able to attract and retain your customers in your pages, if they are visiting, there is a chances more in terms of buying and converting those customers into real-time customers. And the next metric when it comes to the marketing, it is incremental sales revenue. It is ROI, incremental sales revenue, total sales minus expected sales without marketing campaign. So if for an instant I am launching a new advertisement, okay, so what I need to understand whether my advertisement is effective or not, in order to understand that, or after launching my advertisement campaign, whether my sales is increased or not. In order to understand that, the incremental sales revenue metrics, it is going to be useful. So it is all about your advertisement. When you are able to gain more number of customers, fruitful customers, and sales revenue, it is going to be increased, then we can say that yes, your whatever the advertisement campaign you have launched is more effective, and which is attracting the people towards buying your products. And the next thing, customer acquisition cost, which will tell you about how much amount has been incurred or spent by you in order to acquire a customer. It's very simple calculation. CAC is equal to total dollars spent on the customer acquisition divided by total number of customers are acquired. Okay, so that is the thing. And email open rate, it is another metric which will tell you about number of emails open for the particular campaign and total number of emails sent in that particular campaign. So again, and social media followers. Okay, this is an important measure if your business success depends upon the strong branding, because branding, it comes here, positioning. Strong branding keep a check on the social media followers on all platforms they utilize. The most popular ones are Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, Tumblr, and Snapchat. And there are many more, but how far you are going to engage your customers, it is very, very important in order to increase your social media customers and followers. The social media engagement is another metric which will tell you about the percentage of people are engaged with your social media content in terms of post click, post share, post comments, reviews, post likes, and so on. So now in the present scenario, the social media followers and social media engagement metrics, which is will be a great useful in order to boost your business and convert that business into a greater level of profit maximization. And the third important metric in your business, it is financial metrics. So whatever we does when it comes to the sales or marketing, or later on we will be discussing on human resource, then product and project management, the entire thing it is going to be decided in the financial metrics. Okay, so why I have put financial metrics in before that, it is you need to understand what is a metric. Based on that you can able to take a decision whether your business is doing well or not. First one, profit margin. This metric will tell you whether how much margin you have been generated, accounted revenue that has been accounted for all expenses. This metric will show you how your sales volume and pricing fit or result in your business in terms of cost incurred. Profit margin is equal to gross profit divided by total revenue. And you may ask me, sir, there would be an auditor, why we need to worry about it? No, you as an entrepreneur, you should aware about it. Then only you can able to control it without getting deviated. Once the business get deviated from its track, then it is very, very difficult to bring it back. So that's why these metrics are very, very important. Cash flow, and cash flow, it is simple measure differences between the cash flow and outflow. Cash flow accounts for all cash that comes in the form of sales revenue, investment, and goods return. So how I can calculate it, cash flow is equal to total revenue or income plus business liquid assets gained minus total expenditures and total gained liabilities. So this is what. And current ratio, it is another important metric which will tell you exactly the overview of company's financial condition, and it generally measures the deficits if a company can pay off its debt. This ratio will give you a brief overview, and ultimately maximum number of time your company would be measured and attracted by the stakeholders in terms of investment based on the current ratio. Current ratio is equal to current assets divided by current liabilities. Accounts receivable, it's nothing but the total outstanding invoices owed to your business. Then account payable, total outstanding invoices owed by your business. Okay, you have to pay for them. And accounts receivable, you have to get it from your customers. Quick ratio will tell you about the current assets and account receivable plus inventory, current liabilities. Always this proportionate must be more than 1. It's better for your business. And a few other financial metrics, it has been listed. Gross profit, just to have a look. Net profit, gross profit versus net profit. Gross profit, profit margin ratio, net profit margin, working capital, debt to equity ratio. Here I would like to concentrate on working capital. The working capital, it is very, very important. Normally, whatever the investment you have, you need to have a proportionate amount towards working capital, because day-to-day activities and routine activities lies on your working capital. Current assets and current liabilities are the formula to calculate it about it. So rest of the formulas you can able to understand, and it is self-explanatory for your things. And one more metric, it is very important in this slide, gross profit versus net profit. This is used in comparison to target profit ratio to deficit, a clear picture of what actual versus forecasted metric. For an instant, you have forecasted certain things in the last year. This is going to be my forecasted thing, and this metric will tell you whether you are able to achieve the forecasted thing or what are the deviations. If any deviations is there, it will suggest you what you need to do it. That is why I have told you in the business analytics slide itself, first try to understand what is there in your business in terms of data. Then based on the past data, you can predict and forecast, and if any deviations or any improvements is required, you need to go for an prescriptive analytics. And the fourth major metric, it is an absenteeism rate, sorry, HR metrics. Absenteeism rate will tells you about how often your employees takes off. Okay, and I'd recommend to include only unplanned leaves in the absenteeism ratio to avoid placing false blames on your employees, because sometimes people will fall sick or because of some reasons they will not turn out to the work. When they are not coming, then the scheduled productivity or scheduled task could not be able to complete it. And when somebody is not coming, then ultimately the manager who is in charge, they will give additional responsibility or workload to the other employees, which will demoralize the employees. So that is how the absenteeism rate it is going to be impact in your day-to-day activities. So you need to be very careful on that. Okay, planned leaves, I don't think so, which will create a problem, because they will alter or they will give other options for your business. So in order to run it accordingly, you can plan it. But unauthorized leave or unplanned leaves will create a lot of mess-ups in the day-to-day activities. Next metric, employee turnover ratio. 10 to 20% employee turnover ratio is considerable acceptable. It is a good practice to benchmark in the industry standards, because it will speak about employer branding. If you have more than that, then think about your HR practices and your employees, because if you are keep on losing your employees, then your secrets, your business process, and your business strategies and everything goes to your competitor. So that you need to remember it. And ideally, I would say that 10% should not be more than 10% should not be achieved when it comes to the employee turnover ratio. And employee engagement rate, it is all about how far you are having a human touch towards your employees in the work environment. There is no single formula, but still you can create sense of feeling that my employer is valuing me as an employee. So it is all about the relationship between the manager versus a subordinate, or organization with the subordinate. In HR, we used to say that person organization fitness, or person supervisor fitness, person group fitness. So when these three things it is going to be good, then people will behave in a proper manner, especially employees, and ultimately the engagement level also will increase. And the next metric is employee satisfaction level. We know it is very, very important. You need to brand it. Word of mouth communication, word of mouth branding comes from your internal customers, as I told you in the introductory slides itself. And a few other HR metrics also is there. Average time to hire. Okay, how long you are taking to hire per candidate or per employee. Cost per hire. This will tell you how effective your hires. That is an HR as well as the employees. Cost per hire, it is an external recruiting expenses plus internal HR expenses, which will lead to the total successful hires given period. So that is very important. Per employee HR cost, okay, and employee training cost, and revenue per employee, and based on all these metrics only the CTC and salary negotiation and net salary would be fixed. Okay, I hope you understood on this. Let me proceed further. Before that, let me emphasize this, that is revenue per employee, which will directly tell you what is the ROI on your recruitment. And ultimately, by end of the day, as an entrepreneur, you need to achieve your business success in terms of maximizing your profit. Yet another important major metric, it is a project management metrics. There are few metrics is there. Productivity metric, which will tell you output versus input. Then actual start date, project earned value, project actual cost, planned cost for the project. So these metrics will tell you how far you are operationally excellent. Okay, how far you are able to understand your needs of your customers after getting the order. Are you compromising in terms of quality? Are you compromising in terms of, are you doing well in terms of minimizing your errors or defects? And those things it is going to be there. There are many techniques it is there when it comes to the project management, when it comes to the productivity, and especially when it is managing the cost, okay, all direct cost and indirect cost. How far you are going to manage that cost, especially overhead, something like maintenance, then the electricity, then other elements. So those things it is going to be utilized when it comes to the project management metrics. And few other metrics also it is there when it comes to this cost variance, planned cost of project and actual cost of the project. It is always better that you need to stick with the planned cost. If something get varied, if it is above exceed more than what you planned, then you can able to understand your business, your project management is not good in terms of managing, and it is always better that you need to equalize it, otherwise you need to bring it down. The efficiency of your project team, it is slides here. Then CPI, customer cost per performance index, project earned value, project actual cost, and schedule forecast and critical path analysis represent longest path to complete the entire project, and includes every activity that must be performed to get desired project results. So these are the few metrics I want to tell you in the project management metric. Next it is product performance metrics, daily active users. Okay, number of active users per day. Metric calculates the number of unique users you have for your product. Okay, application, website per day, and so on. Monthly active. Then DAU, it is a metric, another thing it is going to be there. Monthly active versus daily active thing. You can able to understand whether people are really interested on your product, how far it is reaching to the customers, session duration, and so on. And finally, other important metrics: total customers, customer retention rate, customer churn rate, average customer revenue, customer lifetime value, and monthly sales, monthly recurring revenue, and so on. This thing will give you a clear-cut and overview of your business, whether you are doing well or not. Total customers will tell you how far your business is doing well, as well as this data, total number of customers. Based on that, you can plan it and forecast it for the future. Customer retention rate, CRR, existing, which will be useful to improvise your strategies to acquire more number of customers, new customers, and retain the existing customers. And customer churn rate, number of customers lost, number of customers at the start of the year. This area you need to concentrate more, because acquiring a customer itself very difficult. When you acquire also, you need to retain them. If you are losing them, when the churn rate it is going to be increased, ultimately it is a bad sign for your business. So as an entrepreneur, you need to concentrate on this. Average customer revenue, total revenue versus total customers. Customer lifetime value, which will tell you about how much important your customer, each and every customer. Monthly recurring revenue also will tell you how much contribution from single customer it is reaching to you. And this is what it is all about, the metrics, business metrics. So how I can manage it for doing it? Don't do it alone. From my end, I'm suggesting that don't do it alone, because it is very complicated thing. You need to look for the support from the experts. Something like me, or some people, those who are good in terms of analytics, and with the good knowledge in terms of economics and commerce and management field, are consultants who will be useful in terms of helping your business, and who has a good supporting network also. I will tell you what will happen when you are doing alone. You may sometimes know, you may be new to the complete the metrics which I have told you, which is very, very essential to measure your business. If you are failed to measure rightly your business, then managing it is very, very difficult. When you are not able to manage it, ultimately the improvisation in terms of profit or improvisation in terms of business would be a biggest question mark. So it is always better that don't do it alone, get the support of consultants or analytics professionals. Then the next thing it is focus on sales. This is very, very important. By end of the day, sales matters and ROI matters. Sales directly contributes towards the return on investment. So you need to focus mainly on the sales along with the productivity and everything. And the next tip it is measure everything. Don't give it for leave certain things since it is not directly contributing to your business. It is always better that you need to measure everything. Even sometimes that measure will help you out in the large manner. As I told you in the beginning itself, each and every data, it is very important. That too, we are into the data-driven era, which will help us to make accurate and more better decision making. When you are able to make accurate decisions by basing used on the descriptive analytics and predictive techniques, then your decisions is going to be good. And ultimately, when decisions are good, business will excel like anything. And the final key factor which is depending on business success, by knowing your numbers, it's voice for the business success. Always keep on saying that, okay, you can state these figures, this is what it is happening, this is the things it is there, so that you could able to go for that. Always emphasizing among your stakeholders when you want to present it, your employees and the stakeholders also, then you can able to attract more number of investments on your business. So these are the four major key aspects you need to look into it when it comes to the metrics in your business or role of numbers. And finally, tips on knowing your numbers. You need to know what money is coming and going out of your business collectively with finance team and business mentors. Set up accounting system to track your critical numbers and make sure you look at them weekly. There are a number of inexpensive cloud-based accounting programs that you can use, or sometimes a simple Excel spreadsheet will sufficient. And take time to really work out what the profit you're making on your product or service that will surprise a lot of you. And making more profit can easily be achieved by knowing your numbers and constantly tweaking your overheads and your cost before even you think about marketing and acquisition. So this is very important thing. Please try to understand the entire scenario by using the data, and from the data take the right decisions, and ultimately your business would be excelled by default. And there are things also it is going to be there. You can use Excel or any other platform, and it is always better that get the support from the consultants or the mentors so that you could able to position your products in a greater level. And all the best for your entrepreneurial role, and try to implement this metrics in your business. If you have any queries or any doubts, you can mail me or you can chat with me in the Twitter at prof.gokula in the Twitter. Now let me write it here so that people will be able to go for it at Professor_Gokula. So you can reach me on this and I will be in a position to help you out. Thank you all.